Hi everybody, Nick Blazer here with another position analysis video. Today, double fours that I saw a student of mine posted struggled with position. I have this at normal score right now, but I think where it occurred was the more interesting situation of gammon saves. We'll get to talk about a little bit of score stuff in this one too. But yeah, so you can think about. I think I like the position a lot because it's an early game plan kind of decision. I think if I write another book, maybe this is what I'm going to try to explain is how I can kind of see quickly what the ideal game plan is in situations like this and how to choose between them. Doubles, I think, get a lot of credit for being like the most difficult roles to play, and I think here is a good example of like the reason being that we can kind of do a 180 on our game plan and choose something completely different with so many options that it really challenges us to go out and choose the best path forward. But yeah, so I'm still doing these every Monday and Thursday. You can still find my book online. You can reach out if you want to do lessons or if you'd like me to add a commentary track to match you've had recorded, anything like that. Hit me up. I got my website out there too. But yeah, so the way I evaluate this position here is I notice that well, a common theme in the early game is that we like to use our big sets when we're already escaped to escape to full freedom and try to play a race when our opponent hasn't yet. So one candidate move that jumps out is 18 to 10 if we're going to play the racing game plan, right? So we play around to here. What we need to do is just imagine what that pip count will be. We can do the math there, but of course we can see an XG here if we move the checkers to the 10 point. We have a what is basically a dead even race. If we're ahead 4 pips after the roll, then our opponent being on roll will make up for that 4 pips. So we always an even race should shift back and forth between the player on roll being down 4 pips. This is a small like theory thing of racing. So yeah, this looks like a pretty even game, and I would expect that after this play, White is actually a small favorite because White has escaped and Black still has this lone checker back and might not be able to race. There might be some other game plans that come up. So maybe in like the low 50s or something like this, but we have a small advantage after this play. So the question in a situation like that should be, is there something more we can do? And of course, we have the other attacking play where maybe we point with the 4, play 6 to 2. And I think the problem after we play all those, perhaps, is what do I do with my last one? I have to play really impure or leave kind of a lot of shots. But I can see here that playing pure looks pretty nice because we have the better board than our opponent. And our opponent has a ton of 2 Blotzen boards. So if he hits with these indirect shots, a 5-4, a 3-6, 5-1, 3-1, 1-1, 1-1 can clean up. But a lot of these are going to leave a double shot and board when he hits, right? So we get something even when we are hit for this bold play. And what it looks like to me is now we're an extra 4 pips ahead in the race. Our opponent's on the roof and might not enter. We have more blitzing potential after this in addition to our race. So this looks like we're doing well in the race and another game plan of attacking here. We do still have to escape the 18, which is like a drawback, but I feel like we're pretty clearly a bigger favorite in the position after attacking. So I think instinctually I would go for this play. But I think this is the way that we have to evaluate these too. So we'll put this back on the board and see indeed attacking for money quite a bit better. And it should come out, I think even maybe I wouldn't have been able to guess that it was 57% wins. It's a little bit higher than I thought. But we introduce a whole bunch of extra gammons we can see both ways. We actually lose more gammons ourselves if we do end up in a blot hitting exchange, which our opponent will go for being down in the race. So yeah, but I think what's nice about this and like trying to pick out early game plans is just like I think you have to compare those outcomes and see which path forward looks strongest. And it shouldn't be too difficult, especially with the centered cube, to create a position where after the running play we are ahead enough in the race that we should just do that and cash the game afterward, especially with no turn cube. So I think taking a position like this and cleaning up a couple things to figure out what would swing it to the correct game plan being running can teach you a lot about choosing game plan strategies in this game too. So I haven't done this yet, but perhaps I wonder how easy it would be here. I mean, if we just now we have a pretty strong attacking game plan too, but we're going to be ahead 24 in the race after we go for this. We can give our opponent a little bit bored too. Maybe something like this would be getting where it'd be more tempting to just play the running game plan and challenge our opponent to play from a single checker back. Um, Again, we're gonna have a pretty good board after this. I'm not completely certain, but yeah, yeah. So now we're all the way up to 75% after we escape because after the play, if we look at the final here, we're ahead 18 pips, which is like a real racing lead, right? It's enough to just cash this game in a lot of iterations. So we should go for that and just yeah, use the cube to win the game most of the time when our opponent doesn't roll like 5, 6, or fives or something like this that escapes with a lot of pips. Um, so yeah, I think that can be kind of helpful to figure out what are the features of the position that lead to the play that's chosen. Um, but I did mention that where this came up was actually a gammon save play, and so I think this is a really nice position to kind of highlight something that I recommend in my book on match play too, which is that the score plays in these kinds of situations should be pretty secondary. And we might think it gets closer, but so looking at the unlimited games, we can see there's a huge discrepancy between the plays, right? But not that big of a discrepancy in wins, which might actually lean us towards finding a different play at gammon save or something like this, the math on it, if we got to see all the numbers. But over the board, if you're looking at this play and you feel like for money you would pretty strongly favor the attacking play because it wins more, and it wins more by quite a bit. Well, that's usually enough reason to just make the same play at any score and not be adjusting to some different game plan that's less effective. The best way to save a gammon is to win the game, so we should still go after that. So knowing that it's like feeling it's pretty clear, I don't think I would think to adjust this one. And having run it at that score, I'm surprised to see actually how close it is too. Um, and it does get in the ballpark because we can see over here we do give up a little bit over 4% gammons, and that's about in the same realm of how many more games we win. So we can actually think about playing something more simple here, and this is getting to be a good borderline case. Um, but it's a good example of like if we look at, of course, the attacking play is going to introduce a ton of gammons for us that we're not going to get value out of, and maybe it's more oriented towards gammons for our opponent too. That can be harder to see. And of course, the simple game that's going to have the least gammons at stake is going to just be to play 18 to 10. But even though all those things are clearly the case, we want to play more races and less blitzes at this score. When it's just the best game plan to win, then we still have to play that way, and we have to be really careful about over adjusting because of gammon price and lack of gammons and all these like sort of score decisions at something like gammon save and gammon go. So I don't think we'd have to change too much to make it more clear. Like we made a pretty dramatic change in the last one to get there, but maybe this one we just need a slightly stronger board, or a little bit more racing equity for it to be better to go the other direction. So maybe something like this is enough where we'll just be ahead 12 pips after the play, and so we should just go for it here. I'm not sure. Oh, that was probably fine at normal score too. Uh, but yeah, they're closer for normal score because of all the extra gammons. So this is the kind of play where if we're not like completely certain, let's see if we can find. Okay, yeah, if we're like, yeah, this one's pretty far off too. But yeah, we should be like in this kind of position where we're uncertain about what the best game plan would be for money. And then at gammon save, those kinds of ones are the ones that we're clearly going to adjust in favor of something like 18 to 10. But in the original position, we can see that even though it's the most gammonish play, it still wins enough more to to make up for it, and we should still go for this relatively loose looking play that might invite a lot of contact. It's just going to win the game too much. So yeah, I hope these examples of early game kind of strategy decisions help out a little bit. Maybe this is more like middle game now. I don't know. But yeah, yeah. I hope you enjoy these. Like the videos if you do, and subscribe to the channel for notifications when more are coming out. and I'll keep having these position analysis videos every Monday and Thursday. Send me positions too if there's something you'd like me to go over and try to give you a better feel for why the best decision was that way or something like that, and I'll try to help out. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.